Deputy National Security Advisor for the Trump administration and author of Revolution. Pete Hegseth is Fox and Friends Weekend co-host and host of Modern Warriors on Fox Nation. You got to go see that. KT, I got to go to you first because this is a serious issue, not getting enough coverage. It seems like to me that the Russians are moving the Cold War online now. So what is the response going to be from the U.S.?
Look, I just want to compliment you on your opening statement. You were spot on, because one of the most important things that President Trump did was to have American energy independence, which drove down the price of oil and natural gas, and it meant that Russia's only way of making money evaporated. So Russia was broke. The way we won the Cold War was bankrupting Russia. The way President Trump had America First policies was, again, to bankrupt Russia. So what should we do now? The single most important thing we could do if we really wanted to put Vladimir Putin in a bad place would be to go after his cyber capabilities and go after his economy by, again, having America be energy independent.
Pete Hegseth, thanks for being with me, my friend. 150 attacks just last week worldwide from these hackers. And there's a statement, actually, this is the Kremlin responding to Reuters. He said that they don't have enough information on the cyber attack, and Microsoft needs to answer more questions, including how the attack is linked to Russia. What do you say?
You can have a lot of questions, but there's no doubt the Kremlin was aware and likely behind it. That nothing happens in Moscow without ultimately the blessing of the government there, or at least the knowledge of it, as you acknowledged. And KT's entirely right. I mean, Russia's effectively a gas station with a flag. And when you cut off their energy capabilities, you cripple them. When you increase sanctions, as the Trump administration did, you make them more vulnerable. And when you supply actual weapons instead of blankets to their adversaries, you're able to block them. I mean, remember when Barack Obama in 2012 said to Mitt Romney, the 1980s called, and they want their foreign policy back? The Democrats have exploited Russia when they think it's politically advantageous to them. Russia against Trump. But when they've been at the helm, they've allowed Vladimir Putin to expand his influence and expand what he wants to be is the restoration of the Soviet Union. That is ultimately his goal. He said it outright. Democrats have no tools in the toolbox to actually fight back. Will we respond? Listen, inferior adversaries go to the tactics that can work for them based on their capabilities. Cyber is what Vladimir Putin thinks he can use because he doesn't believe the Biden administration will fight back. And thus far, he's been right, unfortunately.
So I want to stay with Pete for a second because I think you hit on a couple good points there. One is, I want to understand the difference between words and action. Because, you know, back when Donald Trump was president, there was a lot of, I want to work with Russia. Meanwhile, he's literally tearing them apart policy-wise. Now, you got Joe Biden that's talking tough, talking a real big game. But policy is really not reflecting that. So what is the strategy there?
Well, speaking loudly but carrying a little stick has never been the approach that you want to take. And you know what? President Trump, as KT knows better than anybody, was derided by his critics for saying he's trying to dismantle NATO, when the only thing he did was reinvigorating it by reminding member states that they had to pay up for their own defense, because you can't just, stand on the backs of the American military for the next 50 years as well. So President Trump was willing to engage because he recognized there's other places we could constructively potentially work with the Russians, but he knew all along that they're an adversary who you have to stare down toe-to-toe.
Yeah, you're right. They wanted a free ride, and he wanted them to share the responsibility. I think that's pretty reasonable. KT, what should the response be before this convention? He doesn't have a lot of time, and he can't be weak. So what should he do?
Well, he won't do it, but what he should do, Lawrence, is go to Putin and say, okay, the SolarWinds hack, the Colonial Pipeline hack, the Microsoft hack, you say you have nothing to do with it. We don't believe you. And in fact, we are going to take action to defend ourselves and to have deterrence. We're going to take action against your capabilities. And guess what? Unless you prove to us that you're not responsible, we assume you are responsible.
Yes.
Pete, I got to ask you, you were on the battlefield, served us honorably. Why isn't there more investment for cyber defense? Where are we going wrong as a country? It just doesn't seem like we're doing all we can do.
Well, we do have some capabilities that we should be using to hit back at Vladimir Putin and the Russians right now. We should be, more than commensurate with what they've done. We should, just like Israel does to the Iranian nuclear capabilities, do what we need to do where we need to do it. Frankly, the military-industrial complex is really good at building conventional weapons. There's a lot of money in conventional weapons, and ultimately, that's where a lot of our resources go, and rightfully so. Listen, we can't ignore the communist Chinese, who are number one in who we will need to stare down in the future. They have literal global ambitions, whereas Vladimir Putin's trying to expand his sphere of influence. But cyber is where our enemies are going to try to hit us. They realize we're vulnerable, and we better double down in our investments there. We're going to pay the price.
See, Pete, I see what you did there. You didn't say we couldn't. You're saying that we're not. So we do have the capabilities.
Yes.
We're just not, doing it. Anyway.
Unleashing.
That's right. Thank you, KT and Pete. Don't forget to catch Pete's new episode of Modern Warrior Reflections, available now on Fox Nation. And if you are a veteran or an active duty military, Fox Nation is offering you a free year on the platform. Just go to foxnation.com to sign up.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.